Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Wednesday, August 11th, and we got lots to talk about today. Lots of assets ripping to the upside. One in particular that a lot of people in chat have been asking about is Cardano. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that thing is just absolutely ripping to the upside. So I want to talk about some resistance levels there, hit that, hit the big board, talk about some news as well. But before we dive into things, CJ, John, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well today. How about you, CJ?
Doing good. Thank you. Monty's, talking about ADA ripping, but I mean, what isn't ripping? John had just mentioned potential golden cross that we might get on Bitcoin just before the show, so we might get into that and more, but doing good, gentlemen.
That's what I like to hear, CJ, because I think this weekend, and a lot of people on Twitter are saying this as well, could be a potentially critical weekend for Bitcoin. You mentioned we got some assets that are looking a bit overextended, but also, they're hitting these critical levels where they may take off. We've spent pretty much the last 2 weeks talking about how assets are negatively diverged from their 200 simple moving average. Well, now they've come to parity with it, and where they go from here, I think, is going to be critically important to timing this next market cycle. So, yeah, what do you say we hop into some of the charts here and dive right into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll pull up BTC. Traditional markets up today as well. Really been trending past couple days. So definitely good to see the collective markets. But going over down to the Market Rebellion platform, taking a look at BTC. One thing that we've talked a lot about over the week, Monty and I, specifically on a lot of altcoins and their formations, is looking at these Williams Alligator moving averages. And so we really haven't seen any sign of weakness yet. And so the way in which I like to play this or think about it is that the more overextended we get from a moving average, the riskier a long entry becomes. Ideally, we want to get these things early on. We want to buy dips in terms of short-term trading opportunities. Being said, we aren't really seeing any weakness yet, and I think the trend is likely to continue. We're running into a little bit of resistance right here. That's one of the 0.5 Fibonacci levels. And, you can see that we've really ping-ponged around in these Fibonacci channels thus far. So I wouldn't totally be surprised if we were to get a rejection or something like that before a potential push higher into that third wave. I am still bullish. I am still holding. I'm not too enthusiastic to enter anything new right now just because of the premise. Like the further you get away from that moving average and the more overextended you become, doesn't mean the trend will reverse immediately per se. It just means that the risk of a new long trade becomes higher.
Completely agree.
I thought this was interesting, Monty, because I was asking our technical guru, CJ, about the golden cross and so forth, and you mentioned death cross. And it turns out both are pretty much fades. But I just thought the wording of this was interesting. So, it's two moving averages. You get the shorter term moving average. In this case, most of us would say 50-day, breaking above the 200-day. And that would be a golden cross. And of course, when it's breaking to the downside, the reverse, the death cross. But I just thought this was interesting because they said it's any of these sorts of things are used to spot trend changes. And since the trend has been up, I don't know if people should be rooting for a golden cross, even though, of course, it's supposed to be bullish. You break above the 200-day, and that becomes, a support level or whatever, and you just are off to the races. And you break through the 200-day with that death cross, and again, it's supposed to be, down to the sewer. But since these don't usually just happen in a day, the fact that they say how a golden cross forms and how it can be used to spot market trend changes plays right into what CJ was just talking about as far as, the further you get extended above various levels, the more likely it is that you're going to see some sort of a pullback to a level. And maybe the golden cross is that. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not trying to throw FUD all over this, but I'm just saying a lot of folks are talking about Golden Cross like it's a good thing, and the three of us have said time and time again that death crosses and golden crosses might not be quite as predictive as some people hope.
Yeah, and you mentioned, how it's kind of a fade, and CJ, we were talking about this a bit as well. What did we see when we saw that death cross earlier in the year? We saw, it wasn't too long ago that we saw that death cross, and it didn't really play out as most people expect. You want to speak to that real quick?
Yeah, and to John's point, it is a lagging indicator. It is a reflection of previous price action. And so it's good when you want to identify like the macro trend or like maybe the start of a macro trend, but that clearly wasn't the case with our last death cross. And many times when we're in an uptrend and you get a death cross, it's a very large counter indicator because it's a reflection of previous price action. With the golden cross here, we'll see what happens. We still are a little bit overextended, so potential pullback wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if you were looking at technicals. But being said, we still are very illiquid in terms of Bitcoin supply on spot exchanges. We're getting more and more people hodling each and every day. We'll get into another Glassnode chart later on down the line about that. But it's going to be interesting. It sure is.
Yeah. Now, we're talking a lot about overextended assets and what they kind of look like. And I mentioned when we started the show that Cardano is an asset that has been absolutely ripping to the upside. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at now because I think that this is one asset that's kind of, ahead of the rest of the altcoins. And if we see it hit resistance soon, we may see it, come back and find parity with those moving averages, kind of like what we were just talking about there. And I'm excited to talk about Cardano today because it is approaching a very critical level here at about $1.87. This thing has had more or less no resistance over the last 48 hours as it's absolutely ripped from $1.30 to $1.80. But now we're hitting a point where, this is a level that we tried to bounce above when we first sold off hard here and capitulated, but we saw staunch resistance at this level. We actually also saw it on the way up, and it took a few strong daily candles to break above this level. So I expect traders that have been in this trade for, even just the last 72 hours to perhaps consider taking profits around this level. That's the thing that happens when you get an asset that moves up this fast. You get a lot more traders that could potentially be taking profit because they didn't even need to get in back down here. I'm sure plenty of traders got in down here that are now planning on taking profits over here. But even traders that got in, Monday morning are able to take a nice tidy profit given the amount of price action we've seen from Cardano over the last 48 hours. So I think this is one to watch for the day, given the fact that it's approaching this critical level. And if we do break through this critical level, then it could potentially go up and retest the all-time high at about 246. I think in all likelihood, if we don't get rejected at this level, we'll hit true resistance at the psychological level of $2 and kind of start trending back down slowly. So like CJ kind of said to open the show, I'm very bullish overall, but given the current price action of like the last 48 hours, I just don't think this is an ideal time to enter a long trade. But this is a critical moment, so definitely watch these charts closely to see if it bounces off these critical levels.
Like it. I know that even though we tweeted it, Market Rebellion tweeted it yesterday, guys, I was still kind of scratching my head about the AMC announcement about, yeah, we're going to take Bitcoin in payment for, and people were saying, oh yeah, that's another bullish sign. I don't think so. Most of us are going to say it's a store of value. Most of us aren't going to say Bitcoin is a currency. Can it be used in some cases, especially, I guess, for large purchases, I suppose. But right now, if AMC really thinks they can use Bitcoin as a payment method, how much are they getting dinged, guys? Let's say that the average ticket's $15. Is it worth it for them as a business to do that? And is it worth it for Monty, CJ, or John to walk in and say, yeah, let me, take a few sats off my Bitcoin? They break them into a million pieces, right? So let me take $15 worth of it off of here. I would say no, not at all. I don't understand why people even think that's bullish.
Well, I think maybe that the apes on Robinhood, they hear Bitcoin, AMC, and all of a sudden they just get bullish. So it could definitely pump the stock. It's pumped on lesser news, I'd say.
True, it has, and I'm saying I don't think it's bullish for either AMC or Bitcoin. I think most of us really want to hold on to the Bitcoin, and smart traders are doing what CJ does and what to a lesser extent Monty and I do, and that is buy some puts when when you want to lock in some of these gains. Buy some puts, even sell an upside call, put on a collar. Am I really worried that it's running straight to 65,000 right now? No. But I am very bullish on it, and I think we could see a number closer to 80 or so by year end. But I'm not one of those guys that really just thinks, oh yeah, well, this is the super cycle that carries us to 220, like Max Kaiser's saying by year end. Hope you're right, Max. I hope you're right. He's been in it more than I have. He's made more in it than I have. But I just don't know if predictions like that do much more than just kind of, it doesn't put FUD in there, but it certainly puts FOMO, the fear of missing out, into people's heads. And I don't like trying to get them to, chase stuff like that.
Agreed.
I agree.
Very rational points there.
So should we hop into our doges of the day? I know, CJ, you probably have a few, knowing you. You want to lead us off and see what we got here?
I actually don't have any today. I kind of wanted to just recap some of the ones from yesterday, being Band Protocol and Luna. Still just kind of hanging with those. I was pretty satisfied with their performance yesterday. Kind of the theme of the show is that, I do believe we're in a bull market. I do believe we're starting the second leg of a much larger and significant trend. That being said, like John was saying, it doesn't mean we're going straight to 65,000. I think there'll be a lot of pullbacks and profit-taking opportunities, during that time. Right here on the daily, you can see, we did have a massive surge in volume, but we did not have, we haven't really had a pullback yet. So I wouldn't necessarily be out of this trade, but I wouldn't want to necessarily add to it either. Looking at Luna and shifting over to this perspective, massive bullish engulfing candle yesterday. And, Luna is really one that I'm going to be looking to hold for the next few months. But in terms of like an entry today, I do think we'll likely get a better price, maybe going into the weekend or when we do see some eventual profit taking. But that's my current perspective on the market, and those are my doges.
Cool. That Tezos worked out okay, guys. Yesterday, breaking my arm, patting myself on the back, but we were able to get in significantly cheaper yesterday, and it has just done like this. Now we'll have to be talking about a golden cross soon. But I've got it trading 348 right now, guys. So it's up 6%. Trading volume is still up 6%, even though it had a 30% jump in volume 24 hours ago. Volume's still good. And I guess if you wanted to get greedy, you could say $3.55. But I must say I have taken most of this trade off because I missed it the first time, as I said. I missed it. And instead reloaded down there at cheaper prices, and now I'm taking some off.
There you go. I'll close it up. I kind of, like CJ said, a lot of assets are, significantly, maybe not overbought, but look a bit overextended, not exactly ideal for entering a long trade. So I kind of had to sift through quite a few options to find one that I really like, and that's Engine. So this is an NFT play. I talk about Engine all the time. Full disclosure, I do still hold Engine, but the reason why I like it is because of just the momentum we've seen over the last 3 days, the fact that it broke above the 200 simple moving average, and now from this point, it really doesn't have all that much resistance until about the $2 level. which we saw, some profit, or which we saw some support earlier in the year when we were coming down from our previous all-time highs. So like many other assets, it's got the moving averages turning up, the Williams alligators turning up as well. And unlike, some of the other assets I've talked about earlier in the week, this one is actually up above its 200 simple moving average, implying that we may get kind of a springboard effect that we've seen with a few other assets, like Cardano, that have managed to break above their 200 simple moving average. This is only on a TD sequential 7, meaning it should have 2 days of momentum left based on the DeMark indicator. And the volume has been steadily building over the last 3 days. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing with Engine. I think that, if you enter now at about $1.64, it could be reasonable to even just take tidy profits at, around $2, because like CJ pointed out, it's not going to be a straight climb up for Bitcoin. We're going to see some pullbacks. And when we see pullbacks in Bitcoin, expect to see pullbacks in alts as well. So be disciplined. Don't be afraid to take profits, even if they're just small, tidy ones, because I am expecting some market volatility in the coming week or so. But that is my Doge of the day today, Engine.
Well, you know what they say, no one ever went broke taking a profit. And if you don't mind, I do want to share one last chart before we wrap up here. I was kind of meaning to do it earlier, but this just has to do with the HODL waves and individuals really locking up Bitcoin. But as you can see, all throughout our uptrend, we have distribution, and now we have accumulation. And this is what partially makes me very bullish in my conviction that we are in a bull market and are starting this second leg up. So overall, just like I do think we'll probably get some better prices to buy in the short term after some profit taking, but still I'm very long-term bullish for the next 3 to 6 months. So.
Well, there you have it, folks. I think that's about all we got for today. So thank you so much for watching, as always. If you're looking to trade crypto, you want to get started, or you're looking for a new broker, definitely head over to Voyager, where you can trade 60 plus assets commission free. You can check them out at investvoyager.com. You can earn up to 12% interest for holding DOT, which was one of my doges of the day earlier in the week. So definitely go check them out. You can also earn up to 10% for just holding USDC, stablecoin. Great place to park your capital. And as always, if you want to try the Market Rebellion trading room, you can hang out with CJ and I for just $1 for the first month. We got a pro charting service, 24/7, chat with a community of traders from all around the world. And we really appreciate each and every one of you. You guys share some tremendous insights in there, 24/7. And I feel like I learn a lot from you guys as well. So definitely go check that out. We got an ever expanding education curriculum. We publish news and actionable trading sites with entries, exits, and stop losses. So go check that out. You can try it for just $1 for your first month. But that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow with another Daily Crypto Byte. Take care.
Thank you.